Is Patrick Mahomes' legacy overhyped? Welcome, football fans, to another NFL reaction video. In this video, we're reacting to none other than Skip Bayless. I haven't watched Skip Bayless in a minute, but what I do know about Skip Bayless is he is a huge Tom Brady guy. So am I. And so Skip and I, we see it the same way when it comes to Patrick Mahomes. This rant from Skip is about Patrick Mahomes' legacy being exposed and overhyped. So if you're excited for that, Gronk spike the like button. Don't forget to subscribe for more NFL reactions just like this. And hey guys, comment below. Do you think I should make a reaction channel? Let me know, because I might actually do it. Let's go. I haven't heard this, so I'm excited to see what the legend Skip Bayless has to say. Let's go, Skip.
Look, I'm sorry. I just don't get all the Patrick Mahomes idolatry, the GOAT talk, the overhyping and overprotecting of Patrick Mahomes. Before Sunday's Super Bowl, I was watching the end of the golf tournament, the Phoenix Open. And Justin Thomas was being interviewed. He was asked at the very end, well, which team you got in the Super Bowl? And he said, I am not betting against Mahomes. And the great Jim Nantz, who knows the NFL at least as well as he knows golf, chimed in, echoed Justin Thomas by saying, I agree with you. Really? I'm sorry. I just don't see it, and I haven't from the start. I mean,
interesting. He hasn't seen it at all. He hasn't seen it from the start. Because, guys, you could call me a hater if you like. I don't mind the title. But I've at least admitted when Patrick Mahomes has performed and played well at an all-time level. All I have simply pointed out is that that has not been the case the last couple of seasons. He is actually overhyped right now. I don't think he was overhyped 3 or 4 or 5 years ago. I think he was great. Do I think he had a lot of help too? Obviously. But I think he was great. I think now he's not, and that's where I stand. But it sounds like Skip feels like he was never, ever that good. Now, GOAT talk's a different discussion. Obviously, we see it the same way. Nowhere close. I will say about Jim Nantz, he has to sit beside Tony Romo every single Sunday and talk about football. Have you ever heard Tony Romo during a Patrick Mahomes game? Oh, Jim! Did you see that incomplete pass, Jim?
These last 2 regular seasons, Patrick Mahomes has been shockingly ordinary by his best in the NFL standards. I mean, last 2 regular seasons, not just one, but 2 in a row, he finished 8th in QBR. It's not bad, but he used to dominate, be 1 or 2 for his first 5 years. But the last 2, 8th in QBR as his offense fell to 15th and 15th in points scored.
I didn't even realize they were 15th 2 years in a row. But that is like the definition of mediocre with the best offensive coach of a generation. Come on.
Last 2 years. I mean, that's pretty ordinary, right? And it's not like Patrick Mahomes is suddenly approaching age 40. He's only 29. Brady out.
And that's why me saying that he is washed is so shocking to people. People are like, oh, Brady was this good. Again, don't compare anybody to Tom Brady, okay? And don't compare Patrick Ice Cream 10 a night, Patrick Mahomes, to Tom Brady. All right?
Obviously,
he's regressing.
He played until he was 45.
Yep.
Now let's look a little harder.
Okay.
At Patrick's Super Bowl. So the first one, they're down 20-10, late third quarter, and he throws an awful intercept. It was awful. Go
to Fred Warner, I think.
Go look at the YouTube clip. And early in the fourth quarter, he throws another awful interception.
He threw a pick in the fourth quarter? I don't remember that. Clarify that in the comments. But yes, he is right. Patrick Mahomes, he had that wasp play that went down as an iconic play. That was all Tyreek Hill. No other wide receiver in the history of football can run that route as fast as he did. It was like a 50-yard corner route. I don't even know how to describe it, okay? That was Tyreek Hill. It was a great throw. I mean, Mahomes has a great arm. But, I mean, other than that, the guy did not have a great game. He had one good drive.
Off target, bad idea, late. And then they're still down 20-10, fourth quarter, and it's third and forever. Pass rusher comes clean, and Mahomes has dropped back, and he just sort of, it's like a no look. He just sort of flinches and ducks and heaves way out into the deep flat to Tyreek. Then, of course,
deep flat.
Chief, who had to reverse field and come back and wave for a fair catch.
Bro said the deep flat. It was 50 yards down the field. Okay, I don't think you know what the flat is.
Catch. But it was a huge play. It was a game-saving play and completion.
That's what he does with Tua, too. He goes like this before he catches it. So he's used to that.
The prettiest you'll ever see. And yet, the opponent that day was not Jalen Hurts, or Patrick would have lost that Super Bowl. Opponent was Jimmy G, as in Garoppolo.
I do think, I will say, Patrick Mahomes has been fortunate the quarterbacks he's faced. I mean, even Jalen Hurts. I know here comes the Eagles fans. Mitch, you're disrespectful to Jalen Hurts. You're disrespectful to Nick Sirianni. Guys, the reason the Eagles are so good, it's not because of Jalen Hurts or Nick Sirianni. I'm sorry, okay? Jalen Hurts, he's good. Okay, he's good. He's above average, right? Jimmy Garoppolo was not good. Mid. The word was invented for Jimmy Garoppolo. All right? Outside of his looks, okay, handsome man, he is a mid quarterback, all right? Brock Purdy was literally the last pick in the NFL draft, and I like Brock Purdy. But he doesn't have the most outrageous talent I've ever seen. He's kind of a product of the system. The reason the Niners were good is because of coaching. And they had the first one, they had a talented defense, and the other one, they had a talented offense. Okay? But when Kyle is matching up against Andy Reid and Steve Spagnuolo, and especially in the second one, when he does not have a defensive coordinator to rely on, and the coaching is even, if not, it tends to kind of lean towards the Chiefs, and they have the better quarterback, it's hard to win. So yeah, the Chiefs are fortunate that they have not really faced many great quarterbacks outside of Tom Brady. They've had to get through the quarterbacks on their side of the bracket. And most of the time, it's just been Josh. They got by Burrow once. They got by Lamar once, I think. And they never had to get by Brady. So, yeah, I mean, a little fortunate in that regard, but because Patrick has never played great in a Super Bowl. He's maybe had one good Super Bowl game. Good, not great.
And that was that. Jimmy G came completely apart in the fourth quarter. And Patrick heated up. Patrick played very well down the stretch because Jimmy G did not.
Hold on. It's not because Jimmy G did not, but okay.
And then second Super Bowl, this is against.
I would say Patrick Mahomes got better as the game went on. And this is a football discussion. The reason that happened is because the 49ers defense, as talented as it was, is simplistic in nature. So the more snaps you play against them, the more information you gather against them, they don't play an elaborate scheme. So they don't have a lot in their bag. The more that you can understand how they're covering certain concepts, the easier it is to attack that defense, which you get Andy Reid with a long halftime. You get Andy Reid with more time to look at the tablets, Patrick Mahomes on the sidelines with his staff, Bieniemy, whoever, to be able to look at that defense. And eventually you come up with some plays with 2 weeks to prepare for that defense, right? And eventually you find the cracks. Eventually you find the matchups, especially when you have Travis Kelce and Tyreek Hill. And in that game, Sammy Watkins, right? Like you had a lot of weapons there. It wasn't like they were lacking weapons. In the second one, I guess you could argue that they were lacking weapons, but the Niners defense was not nearly as good. And I think it was somewhat similar with the Eagles game, the first Eagles game, but they were kind of more of a run. They were more of a run game plan in that game because Mahomes did not have 200 yards. But the simplistic nature of the Eagles defense allowed Mahomes to cook up at the end. Because the longer the game goes, the more that defense tires, the more that defense is based on the pass rush, right? And the more it's easier for the offense to find the money plays and the answers.
It's Brady in Tampa. Patrick Mahomes just flat out stunk.
He did.
Again, 31-9.
Nick Wright thinks he played well, though. So I don't know. I guess it's up to perspective if you're an absolute idiot.
Brady over Mahomes, but didn't have pass protection. Then Patrick versus Jalen. This is in Glendale.
I will say this. As a broadcaster, the number one thing I think Skip Bayless does well is he uses his breath. This is just a nerdy point, but the way that he goes, the exhales they're iconic. They're very good. Very well played.
Arizona, Phoenix suburb 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Jalen threw for 304 yards in that game. Patrick for a mere 182 yards passing, but an
Hurts also led his team in rushing and had 4 touchdowns, 3 of them rushing.
Unforced error by Jalen as they were driving for the 21-7 touchdown mid-second quarter. He just dropped the ball as he rolled out.
Yeah, that could have been game, to be honest.
One hopped up to Bolton, who took it to the house, and all of a sudden it's 14-14. What a huge break that was for the Chiefs. They could have been blown out in that Super Bowl.
Was it 14-14? I'll take his word for it, but I feel like the Eagles were up by at least 10. Maybe it was like 24-14 or something after that, but yeah.
But in the fourth quarter, the key play, the biggest play, was a Kadarius Toney punt return.
This is good memory, okay? Yes, the Chiefs won that game because of 2 massive plays that were nothing to do with the offense. Special teams return and a defensive touchdown. People forget about that. And then also on top of that, they were aided by a kind of interesting pass interference call at the end.
Really? Okay. Mm-hmm. That's all you got. It wound up 38-35.
But I will say, out of all the Super Bowls that Tom Brady was in, the first one, he got a defensive touchdown from Ty Law. Hit by Mike Vrabel was Kurt Warner. Shout out my coach. Other than that, special teams, they never had like an iconic return in 10 Super Bowls. I can't remember a single one. Yes, they made kicks, okay? The Chiefs have done that too. I mean, Butker kicked the game winner in that game too. So they made kicks. People forget Vinatieri missed 2 kicks against Carolina too. People forget about that, but it's okay. Also, they never had the returns is my point. And they had 1 defensive touchdown, I think. 1? In 10 Super Bowls? Even the Bucs game, they didn't. I don't even think they had a defensive touchdown. Of course, they had a bunch of turnovers because Mahomes sucked.
But Patrick got outplayed by Jalen Hurts.
Yep.
And then I'm going to give you this. A year ago in Las Vegas, Patrick was very good against Brock Purdy. He was very good. They won in overtime. Way to go. I'll give you that one.
He was good. I actually thought his first half was pretty bad. I thought his second half was good. His overtime was good. Very good. I thought his overtime was very good.
And then, as I just detailed for you, Sunday night against the Eagles, Patrick Mahomes had a QBR of 11.4 Sunday night against the Eagles in a Super Bowl game. That's on a scale of 0 to 100. He had an 11.
Is that the entire game? Because it would be way worse if it was if it was like the first 3 quarters.
11.4. That's the second worst QBR of his entire NFL career, and it happened in a Super Bowl. So the best quarterback stat, the most objective, all-encompassing quarterback stat, said he was pathetic. 11.4 in a.
Not sure I agree with QBR being the best stat, but I know that Skip does, but it's whatever. It's one stat that shows you collective as a whole how you played. That's fair. And he sucked. Don't debate it. He sucked.
Super Bowl? I mean, he looked like bad Carson Wentz to me in that Super Bowl on Sunday night. Just looked so lost. Now, I can already hear the Patrick protectors shouting their excuses to the mountaintops. He doesn't have enough protection. It's Brett Veach's fault.
That's always the excuse, man. That's the excuse in the Eagles game and in the Bucs game. It's consistent. Whenever Mahomes sucks, it's because of his protection. But people do not realize that he's holding on to the ball for so long. It's Caleb Williams-esque. Get rid of the football, sir.
Get the poor man better offensive lineman. Get him better right tackle, left tackle. Better receivers. He doesn't have enough receivers. You're going to hear it all. You're going to hear Patrick didn't have time to throw to receivers who couldn't get open. You're going to hear it and hear it and hear it.
He's right. He's right.
Excuse after excuse after excuse. And you shouldn't buy an ounce of any of those excuses.
He's right.
Mahomes has frankly just gotten a little heavy. I won't call him fat.
He's doing it. Oh, he's pulling the BLV versus consensus, Mitch and Dirk Kant thesis. Pat Mahomes, fat Mahomes. He's doing it. If you guys have never seen the short on the Bottom Line View, I think it's like the last short I've made. I mean, I don't make many shorts. Fat Mahomes. He eats too many ice creams, bro. He's not the same. He's a dad now, bro. He's got the dad bod.
Mahomes instead of Pat. But Sunday night, for the first time in a playoff game, Mahomes wasn't able to chug around and through and.
That's actually hilarious that he said that.
Past Eagles pass rushers, because the Eagles pass rushers are as quick and as athletic, as mobile as he was. He did manage 25 yards on 4 rushes, and you're going to hear, well, they couldn't run the ball. He was their leading rusher.
They never tried to run the ball, which was an Andy Reid mistake, in my opinion.
No, they throw it. That's what Andy Reid does.
That too, though. Yeah, I mean, hey, how can you blame Andy Reid? If he's the best quarterback of all time, in your opinion, how do you not let him throw 40 times?
Out throw it. 25 yards total, averaged about 6 yards per rush, but he never hurt the Eagles with his escapes the way he hurt them in Phoenix and the way he hurt the 49ers last year, especially in overtime.
That's true.
And he did go down 6 times behind the line of scrimmage, as you know. So his This is Patrick Mahomes in the Super Bowl. His touchdowns to interceptions are now 10-7. That's
awful.
Not very good, really.
That's awful.
On 7 interceptions. Well,
that's awful. That would be good in the 80s. Not even good in the 80s. Joe Montana had way better than that. But besides Joe Montana, that would be good for Terry Bradshaw, bro. Let's be fair.
Time record for Super Bowl interceptions is Elway with 8.
Really? I didn't know that. It's interesting. I guess that makes sense. He was blown out like 3 times.
So now Patrick Mahomes is tied with Jim Kelly, Craig Morton with 7 Super Bowl interceptions.
And when did they play, Skip? 30 years ago?
He's played in a bunch. He's played in 5 and 6 years. Got it. Tom Brady in Super Bowls threw 21 touchdown passes to only 6 interceptions.
And again, those stats don't do it justice, in my opinion. And again, 3 of the Super Bowls were before 2005.
Interesting. 21-6 in 10 Super Bowls. 10-7 for Patrick Mahomes in 5 Super Bowls. Interesting. Really? Really, Jim Nance?
No, but you know what's even crazier is the yards. Look at the yards. Look at Tom Brady's yards in the Super Bowl, bro. His yards are crazy. He averages like over 300 yards a game in the Super Bowl. It's like insane.
Mahomes had been playing against a real quarterback in his first Super Bowl. He loses.
Literally. A real quarterback.
He played against the greatest quarterback in his second, and he lost badly. A long punt return saved him against Jalen Hurts.
And a fumble return.
And then Sunday night, he was just flat out awful, and he lost badly. 11.4 QBR.
Yeah, man. Skip's right, bro. He's right. I don't have anything else to say. I'm loving these Patrick Mahomes videos, though. I don't know. This one was kind of like a week ago. But, hey, bro, I enjoyed it. Let me know what you want me to react to next. And let me know if you want me to create a Bottom Line Reacts channel. I'd be down, man. I'd be down. Thank you guys for watching. Gronk, spike the like button and subscribe. We will see you in the next video.